The Greeks have a word for everything, and it's called morphokinetics. We can also call it time-lapse photography. And in my talk today, I'd like to show you how this can be used to select the best embryos. The time-lapse devices are being used ever increasingly in IVF labs. But what about assisted reproduction technology today? What is happening? Well, in Europe, between 1% to 4% of all children born are born after assisted reproduction assistance. And in Europe, there's over 400,000 cycles every year. There's concern that there's 22% of multiple pregnancies. And balanced with this, we still have a low success rate. There's also public health concerns, so much for the mother and also for the child, but also for the cost of treatment of these patients. So wouldn't it be better to be able to watch the embryo grow? This is a small preview of a time-lapse embryo, to be able to choose the best embryo for transfer. Here we can see it dividing here. The end of the film, we can see it going to the blastocyst stage. So this is what we're here to talk about today. But still there's an inability to choose the best embryo. We're still not good at picking the best embryo for embryo transfer. Progress, of course, has been made with such things like the omics family. The most popular is the metabolomics, but it's not ready for commercial use at the moment. And other forms of omics, transcriptomic, proteomics, is either technically very difficult or very time-consuming. There's also invasive techniques such as embryo biopsy, which we heard recently, but it's been recently seen with the FISH test, where we try and see a number of chromosomes. It's been seen that we cannot screen embryos effectively. Maybe with the new CGH technology, which looks at the whole chromosome, we can be promised better results. But what do we rely on? We still rely on looking at embryos every day, either once a day or twice a day. And what do we see in the lab? Well, we can look on the first day, where we can see signs for fertilization, 16 to 20 hours after fertilization. We can look on the second day, we can look on the third day, or even prolong that growth in the lab to look at blastocysts, some 100 and so hours after fertilization. Now, these are very nice embryos. We don't always see nice embryos in the lab. We can see embryos which have abnormal pronuclei. We can see embryos which have multinuclei. We can see them with abnormal blastomeres. We can see fragments occurring, abnormal blastulation, and of course, abnormal blastocysts. So in every unit, there's a scoring system where we try and predict the so-called best embryos for transfer. There's also been many studies looking at the pronuclei, looking at the pattern that can be produced on the first day when we look at the zygote. We can see here the pronuclei in the center with the nucleoli. And some of the certain patterns have been linked with implantation success. But these patterns can change with time also. There's also been some studies looking at the polar body axis in relation to the pronuclei. All these techniques have helped us, but they've been of limited value. The current hypothesis here is that the pronuclei should be in parallel with the polar bodies. But my talk is about morphokinetics and not morphology. I'll just go back a bit, sorry. Also, there's been over 10 studies looking at the embryos which are first to divide, linking them with better implantation results. And every lab has a strategy what day to transfer the embryos. Do we wait until they're day 5, where they obviously per embryo have a better implantation rate, or do we keep it quite flexible? We look on the second day or the third day and then decide if we're going for blastocysts. But in one study, when the embryologists were asked to pre-select which embryos they thought would go to blastocyst, 50% of the time they were wrong. So again, when we're trying to choose a blastocyst, we're not always getting it right. And as I said, each lab has its own scoring system. So if you asked me a year or two ago, I'd say, what is the best way to choose embryos? It would have to be a combined scoring system where we look at the morphology of the pronuclei. We can look, if possible, to look at which embryos are dividing first. And we're looking for imperfections in the embryo, and we're also looking for the number of cells to be related to that day of observation. Again, always relying on taking the embryo outside its protected environment of the lab and placing it under a microscope. But we're talking about morphokinetics and not morphology, and this is in fact what I'd like to show you. Here's a film of 7 embryos here. By taking photograph every 10 minutes, we can watch its development, and in this way, hopefully not miss what's going on, and avoiding, of course, taking the embryos out of the incubator. Using time-lapse, we can see that exact timing is very important. I mentioned that early cleaving embryos are very important, but if they're too early to cleave, then that could be detrimental to embryo growth. In this study, it tried to focus in on which times are important. It took certain events such as pronuclei appearance and fading. It looked also at the first, second, and third division, and arranged it into quartiles. And anything outside the central quartile was called out of range. It then looked at the embryos and looked at all the embryos, which gave 100% implantation. So if we transfer 3 embryos, we got 3 sacs, or if we transferred 2 embryos, we got 2 sacs. And again, another category was with 0% implantation. So looking at these figures, we can start to home in on what is in fact important. And this study found that not so much the appearance of the pronuclei, but more the disappearance of the pronuclei, and the first, second, and third divisions are proving quite important. Another study by Hinkler looked at the time to complete the cell cycle, showing that it was important in the interphase, especially the S phase, which we see in the embryos. Taking photographs every 10 minutes, it looked at 28 embryos, which gave a fetal heart. And we can see here that from the single cell, from the zygote to divide to the second cell, the embryos which produce the fetal hearts were between 20 to 26 hours. Again, from the second division until 4 cells, it should take between 10 to 12 hours. And of course, it's very important that the cells are in sync, they are synchronized with each other. So it showed that the divisions, from 3 cell to 4 cell should be between 10 or 20 minutes. But if we think about school, we should know this. We know that the cell needs time to organize itself. There's a lot of complex things going on. We know it has to organize the organelles in the cells. It has to replicate the chromosomes, and of course go through the cell division. And again, another complex process is the zygotic clock. It has to change from the maternal control to the zygotic gene function. So there's a lot of data coming out now, and all this data is being sent back to a central database. And there's a lot of data coming out now on times of cell division, on synchronicity. This method means that we can actually measure the blastomeres, we can look at fragmentation and multinucleation. One of the largest studies, which was by Messenger, looked at the study in a clinical practice. Other studies have looked at mice embryos, other studies have looked again at fetal hearts, but this looked in a clinical study, and it saw that it was important certain stage events. They marked T2, the time to 2 cells, T3, the time to 3 cells, and so on. It looked at the cell cycle as well. It looked at from the end of the first division to the start of the second cycle of division, how long that would take. But it also looked at the synchronicity. It took to the time when embryos went from 3 to 4 cells, or in the further cell division when it went to 5 to 8 cells. And the most important factors which were deemed were the time to 5 cells, which should take 48 to 56 hours. The cell cycle, the first cell cycle should be around about 12 hours, from going from 2 cells to its first division when it goes to the 3. And of course, looking at synchronicity, the sister cells, they have to be in line with each other, and it should take less than 45 minutes. Here at Matera we have a time-lapse device. It's from Prima Vision. It has a large optical field. It has good analysis. Because light is so important for embryo development, and this is why it's been so long in the development time-lapse, that we use a very low intensity light. It's 1/10,000th of light in the room of ambient light. There's no moving parts to go wrong. All the electronics is far away from the actual microscope which we see here, the dish underneath, and it comes with an analysis software. And it operates inside the existing incubator. So we can see an incubator here, and we can see 3 devices here on top of the dishes which have the embryos. The embryos are cultured in special dishes which each have a well. We call them a wow dish, which is a well on well. We can see here we have 9 wells. We can also have it with 16 wells if we have 16 embryos. And we have a large optical field, so we can see all these developing as a whole, but also separately. And the reason for this is that we can look at them all together. It's been shown in many animal studies that group culture is beneficial. So in this way, we can keep them separate, so we can follow the embryos, of course, but we can allow them to cross-talk as well. So they're in the same medium, but they just happen to be separated by these wells. So this is a picture we can see of 8 embryos now. 10 minutes later, we can see the first embryo has just divided. Here, 10 minutes after that, something's happening here. It's elongating. And then we can see that this is the second embryo which has divided. All these events we would miss. By this time, the embryologist would be at home. So these are things that we can look at in the next day and follow which ones have divided first. So we at Matera, we took many of the parameters which were in the literature, and we gave each time interval a color code. For example, we have the 2-cell stage. We had it from 24 hours to 28 hours, and we gave it the color green. There were other stages for other colors. And we can look at each embryo separately. Here we have an embryo here. Time is along the bottom. We can see if the events have happened inside the range that we want them to be. We can also do statistics. We can also look at each embryo separately. And with time along the bottom and stage along the top here, we can see how quickly some of these events are occurring. 3 to 4 cells. The steeper the slope here means obviously the quicker it is happening. And we can also compare the embryos together. And here we have 3 embryos to be compared before embryo transfer. We can see this embryo here was the first to divide. We can see that this time period, the colors aren't very clear, but this time period was very close together to go from 3 to 4 cells. This embryo took a little bit longer. And if we look at our results, and of course there's a very small number, it's been a learning process for us, we can be quite encouraged that it's safe. It's a proof of concept really for us, and we're not trying to prove anything at this time, but we took 22 patients. We took interesting patients. We took patients who we thought could benefit. We had patients who had previous no failure, and we looked at some of these timeline events. And out of 22 patients, 13 became pregnant. And out of the 60 or so embryos which we transferred, we had an implantation rate of 31%. So we can see, I think, that we're now ready to limit, if we can, the number of embryos which we transfer, and we can prove the proof of concept that we can, in fact, choose quite nice embryos for transfer using this technique. Another thing affecting viability is fragmentation. We can see an embryo here. Out the 2 cells, but it should be fragmenting very shortly. And as time goes on, sometimes it's not quite clear, and it's not quite easy to see the fragmentations right at the end. But it's an important factor that we look at for embryo viability. In a study looking at mice embryos, Pabinski looked at the probability of embryos going to blastocyst, and we have the time of the first cleavage along here, and it's a 3D graph, so we have the time to go from 2 to 3 cells. And it's very easy for mice embryos to go to blastocyst, so we can predict a very high probability of blastocyst. But if we have fragmentation, we can see that the percent of blastocyst is going to be much less. Combining these 2 graphs together, we can look at the percent reduction in blastocysts. And for intermediate time frames, it can be up to 60% loss of blastocyst if we're going to have some fragmentation there in the embryo. In the same study, he looked at fragmentations, and we saw that it's a dynamic event. 12% of the embryos showed fragmentation, but almost 90% of them had fragments which were reabsorbed. And looking at the time frame between when they appeared and when they disappeared, which was around about 9 hours, they could see that if we only look at the embryos once a day, we could miss the embryos in 70% of the case. And here we have a video here which shows just that. I'll just leap ahead. You see it forming fragments, and then again should be dividing now, forming fragments, and then it being reabsorbed. So all things which we would miss. Again, we can see abnormal cell division. This is the very same embryo which I showed you on my first slide, where we saw it was a very nice embryo. It went to blastocyst. But if we slow it down a bit and have a look at its first division, it goes from 1 cell to 3 cell. So this is going to be aneuploidy. And if we would have checked other days or other times, or just looked and chose which was the best blastocyst, we could have transferred this. Just important to note that many units are using time-lapse as a form of aneuploidy screening. This just shows just one attempt of ours where we looked at the embryos. We saw in this embryo here, it took a very long time to go from 3 to 4 cells. Obviously, we wouldn't have transferred it anyway. But with collaboration with Lena Florentine in Alpha Lab, we did CGH, where we could look at all the chromosomes. And for this particular embryo, we saw that it was actually chaotic. So I think in the future, we can maybe link these 2 things together. So what have we learned from time-lapse? Well, it gives us a dynamic view of what's happening with the embryos. It can give us an insight, both temporal but also morphological. It gives us keys to markers, so it gives us keys to things to look for when we're selecting embryos. And it's a way of also avoiding certain embryos. When we see an embryo divide from 1 to 3 cells, in fact, recently, one of our embryos went from 1 cell straight to 4 cells. These things, again, that we would miss. And we can look for time frames when the embryo seems to be struggling to divide. We can also look at fragmentation and multinucleation as well. What do we see in the future with this? Well, I think more and more units are going to use this, and as more and more data is being amassed. But there's certain adaptations which can be used, one of which was used by Wong with high-powered image analysis. They were looking at cell membrane ruffling. They were seeing the waves in the cell membrane, and this could be related to gene function. And by closely monitoring the embryos, they could predict with 90% of the chance their embryos going to blastocyst stage. Another study, very quickly, was used on oxygen consumption, showing that there was increased consumption at the time of fertilization and again at the first cell division. And for us, it's been a great learning tool, and I think it's a great learning tool for any embryologist. It's also, I think, very good for the patient. We can give them a DVD. Some units, in fact, give them a DVD with an embryo transfer. We can obviously give them also a report. And for the most gadget-minded of people, we can also review the embryos remotely. We can do this from our home, from the internet, or even from the smartphone. So I think we're going to see a lot of applications and things going on in the future. Always in the aim to choose the best embryo for transfer.